welcome back to a brand new episode of Full Throttle, where today we are covering episode 11 of Drag Race Germany Season 1, which is the reunion episode. I am your host, Extra Extra, and as always, I am joined by our host with the most, Thomas. How's it going, darling?
I am amazing. I am feeling great. I recently watched the Attack on Titan finale. Go watch the show if you haven't.
I have not, and so I need to. I've got homework.
You better. No, I'm great. How are you, though?
I am good. This week has been stressing me out, so this is exactly what I needed, was to chat about a bunch of girlies chatting. Before we get in too deep, just want to make a short disclaimer, as always, to not send any hate or negativity to any of the queens on this episode of Drag Race Germany. Barbie gets into this during the episode, and I think it's really important to talk about toxicity in the fandom, but, you know, the social media accounts of these queens are there for us to support them. So let's use them for that and try to avoid tearing people down. This week, the reunion is always a great chance at the end of a season to revisit all of the girls, the early outs. It is always a fun chance to see where everybody has gotten to since the first episode, because I think each of these girls goes on such a journey from the time that they arrive to the time that they at least film the reunion, and you can really see, you know, a wide range of glow ups across these girls, and I think it's just always nice to touch base. How were you feeling going into it?
I always love the reunions, especially because you usually get to see like some of the looks that you weren't able to see. You get to like hear some of the reads that you didn't get to hear, and to see how each of these queens are holding up. And I mean, it's always nice, especially with the early outs, to be able to get to know them a little, like at least this tiny bit more. So
yeah, absolutely. And also, you know, to be fair, I feel like the reunion is a little bit more entertaining on seasons with lots of juicy drama and conflict, which there was drama in this season, but it wasn't melodramatic and it didn't dominate the season by any means. So there were a couple of moments to rehash, and they definitely hit the high points, but it wasn't like, you know, nobody stormed out in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of very, you know, loving commentary. So I loved that. And I mean, obviously at the helm for that, we're going to have our good old trio of Barbie Breakout, Gianni Jovanovic, and Diane Brill. I mean, Johnny and Barbie were there the whole time, and they kind of brought Diane in at the end for the Miss Darling crowning, which was so exciting. And I'm glad they were all there, because they really held a lot of the chemistry for this season, at least for me. And so for both Barbie and Johnny, at least, to be able to moderate most of the talk, I feel like they provided a nice balance. And, you know, I usually complain about how people criticize Johnny throughout the season, and I did see some remarks since the airing of this episode online that they really loved Johnny in this episode, and that they could see his warmth, and they could see, you know, his relationship with the girls, and that it felt really authentic, and the chemistry with Barbie was really great. So I'm glad people got to see that, but, you know, I've seen that this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm glad that people can see that, but I hate that it takes a certain kind of episode for that to come through. You know,
Yeah, no, I get it. It was really frustrating, and because like I never felt like his comments that he made were not constructive criticism. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to hear that now people are seeing Johnny for what he is, or like for what he did bring to the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm always delighted to see these three, especially, you know me, I'm a Diane fan forever now.
Diane Stan.
Like, look at her. Hello.
Oh, and before we leave, Johnny, I was really glad that he had a moment to bring up Cherry Valentine.
Yes.
Because I totally forgotten that they had their Romani ancestry in common, and how important, you know, her story must be to him.
Yeah.
And especially from a different franchise, I think it's really great to call attention to, you know, these really talented queens that have just left us too soon.
Yeah. No, it was really like a really sweet moment. I'm really glad that they brought it up. Although I must admit, I was like, they were like in loving memory of Cherry Valentine, and then like a second later there was like laughter, and I was like, well, this is a weird, like, they could have cut this a bit better, right?
Yeah,
like in production, but
right,
you know what.
But yeah, very happy to see Diane give the Miss Darling award. I think she's definitely the most qualified to do that. So, in order of their elimination, we get to welcome back to the screen Barbie Q. I mean,
Yes.
cutie extraordinaire. I thought that the look that she came in was quintessential barbecue. She literally had a grill next to her chair and had sausages on the grill and was dressed up, as like the flame herself.
The tongs.
And the tongs.
Hello? The
I
tongs.
love how much she used the tongs throughout. It was
Amazing.
great.
You see them clapping, and she's just like, "Hello."
And I mean, this makeup job, I mean, to do like a orange
Yes.
and red based makeup job and to still have it read and look fierce, I thought was really great. And looking at her runway look that she brought as well, I feel like neither of these looks really showed me anything that I didn't already know about her. Like these do kind of look similar to the looks that she showed, but she does this really well. And she always has really interesting, headgear. This midnight blue is a really gorgeous color and like a nice, cool counterbalance to the warm colors
Yeah.
she's wearing at the reunion, with the flame look. But I wasn't like shocked or anything, but I did think that she looked great.
Yeah, no, she looks amazing. Yeah, I'm like, it's not like I'm mind blown or anything. It's not like, I mean, we've seen a lot of ladies of the night, basic looks, but I mean, she looks gorgeous. She's stunning.
And she's so sweet. The way she
Yeah,
talks, I mean, the sound of her voice, I could just listen to that voice
yeah,
all day. And obviously, she cares so deeply about what she brings to the stage and how she connects with people. And I wish her nothing but so much success.
yeah. No, for sure.
Okay, up next, the Only Naomi, which I thought she looked fantastic. This
Hello.
red is, it looks expensive, and her makeup is on point. I really liked this look.
I love it. And what I really like about this look as well is, I mean, they had this like moment that they also brought up in the reunion episode, where she talks about like the HIV crisis and like the, how do you call it in,
The AIDS ribbon, yeah.
yeah, the AIDS ribbon. And I think this is a perfect way to also represent that kind of moment. And
I didn't even think about that. Great point.
yeah, no, I mean, it occurred to me. It just occurred to me like at the end of the episode, but I was like, this is really well done. She looks stunning, and she brought up like what she will probably most likely be most remembered for in this season, and rightfully so. So yeah, no, she looks amazing. But I
Yeah.
didn't expect any less from
Right.
Naomi.
And, it did seem like she had really connected with, her other early out sisters, Barbie Q and Lele Cocoon,
Yeah,
which was cute to see. I love this look. I wish I could say the same about her runway.
really.
This wig is great. This mullet and the bright orange fading into yellow. Yeah, that's really stunning. But I mean, she's wearing like biking shorts with a piece of fabric around her waist. Like, what in the Derek Barry is happening? I I
Not Derek Barry.
I do not understand. And then like kind of like a cut off like puffer jacket in this weird neutral tone. I it was like too clean for Mad Max, but too messy for couture. I don't know. It wasn't a cute mini dress though, so I'm happy.
I loved this look, and I nobody was reacting to it. Like none of the queens were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." I loved it. I loved the little mask in the beginning. In the beginning, I felt like the way she walked, it was like so magnetizing to me. Like
Oh, I love the way she walks.
it's just like she made herself look like she's like 250. Oh wait, no, wait. How do you? What's 250 in like
Say like 7
American?
feet tall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I love it. I was like, I love this look. But I mean,
Fair. To
yeah,
each
just
her own.
uh-uh.
uh, Up next, the Frankfurter legend Lele Cocoon. I was so excited to see some more looks from her, and this blue and white look that she showed up in is exactly the kind of surrealist, arty, clowny, silly but serious type of look that I would expect to see from her. I love the color palette. I love how dreamy it is. This mouth makeup it cracks me up. Honestly, it reminds me of some makeup that I did for Halloween a few years ago. I was playing like an Halloween 80s night show, and I had just kind of a creepy look on, but using some of that white to give the appearance of like teeth when your mouth is closed. It goes real creepy real fast. So the fact that this looks more kind of like cutesy and unsettling as opposed to like downright terrifying is really impressive.
Yeah.
I love it. It's absurd.
She looks amazing. This is like the especially like the lip makeup is so fun. I was getting confused the whole time, like whether her mouth is open or not, but
I know, I love it.
worked. I mean, she looks great, and it was so nice to see her again because she was certainly one of the queens that I thought would make it a lot further in the competition.
Yeah, I was shocked at how little we got to see of her, and I was really looking forward to getting deeper into her closet. Now, this look that she brought for the runway, I saw on her Instagram, and this was the food episode, the food runway, and so what I loved about it, and at the time I kind of criticized Lorelai's look because I didn't understand how all those ingredients went together. And when I looked on Lele's Instagram and saw this look, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This is more what I expected to see because it is a specific reference to a Frankfurt dish called, I think it's Handkäse mit Musik.
Handkäse mit Musik, yeah.
Which is so interesting. Yeah, hand cheese with music. Which I read a little bit about it, and it's funny because it's like a sour milk cheese that you make with your hand and make by hand, so Handkäse. And I think technically music is meant to refer to like the jingling of the little jars on the plate when they bring it to you. But apparently, if you ask any Frankfurter what the music means, they say die Musik kommt später, which I guess apparently it gives you gas.
Yeah.
Which is great, and I am always down for some fart humor, so I absolutely love this look.
No, I love this. At first I was like, this looks like weird pizza rolls to me, and then I got and then I was like, wait, she's from Frankfurt, right? So yeah, no, it makes sense to me. This is perfect. I mean, have you ever tried it? No, right?
No.
Don't.
Really? Is it bad?
No, okay. I mean, I've tried it like once. It's just not my cup of tea, which is fine.
It's like onions.
Yeah, so you'll like usually eat it with like a lot of like onions and what's Kümmel?
Caraway seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a specific flavor.
That's a very specific flavor, and it's not to everybody's taste.
And the cheese, I guess. What does the cheese taste like? I know it's like, is the cheese sour?
I barely tasted it because of all the caraway and the onions. So like this makes it sound like I want to bash it. It's just like it's not for me. But I mean, there's obviously a lot of people that love it.
Oh, but if somebody wants Himmel und Erde, you're gonna be like, hell yeah.
Maybe.
Or some Blutwurst.
Yeah, I mean.
Then isn't Himmel und Erde isn't part of that Blutwurst?
Yeah. Himmel und Erde is like potato mash with like
apples.
Applesauce and like Blutwurst that you like fry in the pan. And make it like really crispy.
At one of the brew houses in Komm.
Have you tried it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, right?
Fucking good.
I mean, it sounds
potatoes
disgusting.
And apples together.
Yeah.
I mean, the sweet, the savory is incredible.
Yeah. And like whenever I do eat Blutwurst, I never think about what it actually is because I mean, if I do think about it, I will not be able to eat it. But yeah.
People don't at least in America, I don't think people know that much about German cuisine. And they don't think that it's very exciting other than sausages. But there's so much there, and there's so many local specialties depending on where you go.
Because the American cuisine is so special.
Oh yeah, we've innovated so many things. Hey, we do barbecue pretty good.
That's true.
And come to Louisiana. We've got some of the most unique and
Isn't what food. You always recommended? Isn't it called gumbo?
Gumbo is a staple of Louisiana food.
I mean, I have to try that.
Gumbo, etouffee, jambalaya, boudin,
biscuits and gravy.
Oh, you gotta try biscuits and gravy.
Oh my god,
absolutely.
Now I crave it. I want to try it so bad.
Up next, the one and only Tessa Testicle, or as she showed up this week as Mother Teresa Testicle. Which she does look gorgeous in this kind of a
Yes.
princess dye kind of look with this pink cheeks and eyes.
Yeah.
I think she looks very sweet, very
Yeah.
delicious.
She looks really cute.
I mean, she still looks very Tessa. There's always a little bit of attitude around the edges.
Yeah, for sure.
She did get a fair amount of screen time, and I'm really glad she did. Yeah, I feel like there were some girls we didn't really see a whole lot, but I just found her so likable. I mean, ever since her Meet the Queens video, I could tell that, she had a perspective and a lot of sass, and I really
And a lot of ass.
thought, oh, yes, indeed. I mean, legendary. So it was good to see her again, and she was very, active in the discussion, and she's just so charming to watch. I could,
Yeah. She definitely had a lot of personality. I really liked that they showed that there were no hard feelings between her and Johnny. Because
absolutely.
I thought that was an important point to make.
It was kind of jarring the first time we saw it because we never really
Yeah.
seen contestants give that kind of sass back to jury members before. But
Yeah.
as we've gone through the season, we've seen that the dynamic between these girls and the jury panel is different than other seasons. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's a little bit more peer to peer, but there's also a lot of respect there. It was good to revisit that and to be like, yeah, like, we're like family. Like, we fight, we scratch, we heal, we move on.
I gotta say, watching this reunion, I genuinely think, and I mean, I might be biased here, I think this is one of my favorite Drag Race seasons of all time. Simply for the fact that I felt like the dynamic between the queens and the jury, like the hosts, was amazing. Barbie Breakout was such an amazing host. She always gave amazing criticism. She felt so genuine. The connection that she had with her queens was amazing. It was a joy to watch them. So yeah, I was so happy to see that they did fight, but also they made up. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously heavily invested in this season as well, but I do think that this group of girls is of such high quality, and having such a strong judge at the helm really just sets a great tone. It wasn't over the top dramatic, and there weren't like conflict, left and right and center, but these queens were so smart and creative and talented, and I feel like they were given the means to be as successful as they could be in these challenges. There was some messiness, but I feel like it was all really well put together, and yeah, you got to see some queens really succeed.
Yeah.
And it was such a good group of girls that you didn't feel like you got to see nearly enough of several of them, but I feel like that's how a good season is. That not just a group of filler queens that are gonna be gone soon, and a couple of queens at the front, but like a really strong, well-rounded group of girls from a variety of places. And Tessa totally fits that bill. She is from Switzerland, and did not fit the bill of the typical drag queen in Germany. And I feel like the confidence that she showed and the skills that she got to bring to the table. I mean, she should be so proud, and I think she's already grown a lot, and she's young, so she's got a long career ahead of her.
No, I mean she was super iconic on the season. She did leave her mark, also her mark on the mirror, I guess.
And I was about to say her farewell message and her leggings.
Yeah, her leggings were iconic.
She was not known for super elegant runways during the season, but I thought she was really smart with the runway that she chose to bring, because she chose the 3-in-1, so she got to show a bunch. But it was also a really great look. Started with this egg look that predictably hatches into this lovely yellow and white gown with the orange legs, which is just cracking me up, with the claws on the feet.
Oh my god, the way she walked.
Oh, absolutely. She totally, I was going to say hammed it up, but I guess she chickened it up. Which further revealed to this really ostrich feathery kind of Vegas-y look with the headpiece. I thought it was really elevated and looked really expensive, and really, set a new bar for Tessa's runways. I'm really glad that she got to show this.
It was amazing. You know me, I am always like with these 3-in-1 looks. The first look to me isn't really a look. It's just like, well, you wouldn't walk around in this.
It's an introduction.
Yeah. So I don't want to be a hater. This is amazing, and I was really glad that she chose this look. I wish more queens had chosen the 3-in-1 look, but
Yeah.
she's great. She's amazing. This look is amazing. I was cracking up with the way she walked.
Uh-huh.
Great. This was a great
excellent.
choice. This was a great look on her.
Yeah. Well, they always say what came first, the chicken or the egg. I guess now we can say definitively.
I did.
Oh, it's not a competition, Thomas.
I'm so sorry. Mom, please don't watch this.
You do. I mean, even if she did, would she get it?
No.
Up next, we have Nikita Vegas.
Oh my
She
God.
looks so good.
She looks amazing.
Fucking love this bright color, like comic book hero. I mean, her face is beat. That wig is huge, and OMG says it all. I love it.
I love this superhero look. For some reason, like when I was watching the season, I did. I mean, obviously, I love Nikita. Like she has amazing comedy. She was one of the few queens that actually like had some juicy confessionals, which was nice.
Oh, she was like the only shit stirrer on the cast, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I really loved her on the season, but recently I realized how much I quote her in my daily life. I say it stinks so up in it. I say that so often at work now. So
it's great. It's great.
It's such a catchy catchphrase. It's such an amazing catchphrase. I love her. This was amazing. This was an amazing look. It was so fun to watch her again on the show, and yeah.
Oh, her runway looked great. I mean, I feel like this is kind of not a normal runway that we would see from her because it was very like glam. There wasn't a ton of camp. It was just kind of a nice little period piece that looked really great on her, and it did reveal that bottom part. Kind of became much skimpier at a certain point. I thought that she looked great, and I thought that she brought such a unique perspective to the cast. Being a more experienced queen from Berlin, that I feel like she brought that old school sass that was needed.
Yeah, no, I mean she looks amazing. In this opera dress, I thought it was. I think Yvonne said something like, "Oh, you kept this from all these years ago," and I was like, "Wow, okay."
Incredible.
But
excellent read.
I love her. I wish we could have seen more on her of her on the show, but I'm so excited for her to have the spotlight that she has now. So,
oh yeah, I hope she's getting that coin.
Oh, me too. And I mean,
it.
she does deserve it. She doesn't even have to do like a comedy show. Just like put her on a stage with Yvonne and just let them shit talk each other. I will pay for that.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Up next, Victoria Shakespears. Talk about a glow up.
Hello.
This woman looks gorgeous.
She looks like a woman.
Like she looks like she went to college and came back 10 years later looking so mature and so
Snatch.
I could also tell that her face wasn't quite as expressive as before. So maybe that's a symptom of some of these improved molds. But I thought that she looked incredible and that she carried herself with a little bit more of a more experienced air. She didn't seem quite as green as she did before.
She looks great. I mean, she's always looked gorgeous, except for in that comedy challenge that we've seen. But
except when she means to.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, she is a beautiful queen, and
she had a lot to say too. She was not shy about defending herself and holding her own. And I feel like that was something she might have felt a little self-conscious about. Being a Brazilian queen that lives in Switzerland, showing up to Drag Race Germany. But I think she's come such a long way. And even with her runway, oh my God.
Hello.
Jaime from Kill Bill, incredible. What a great idea. No one on any Drag Race franchise has done this look. I did not expect it from her.
No, yes.
Kills it. Look at that.
Yes. There's nothing more to say.
Oh my God.
It's kind of become a catchphrase, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
No,
It's
but like
amazing.
I mean, she looks so good. It's so fun. The idea is great. The execution is done very well. Like, especially like the beer flip in the end. I was like,
Yes. Oh, it was on
I
point.
love
Oh,
you.
she
Oh
is
my
but a
god.
3-inch punch straight into my throat. Gag
Yeah.
me. Ah,
There's
yeah,
nothing more to add.
yeah. Seriously. Oh man. Okay. Up next, Loreley Rivers. This look. Oh my gosh, this is giving me like a Nina Bonina Brown, kind
Yes.
of crafting at the headpiece. I I guess she was it just a mouse look? I didn't really think about it.
I think it was just a mouse. I didn't think anything else about it either, but I mean, it's really cute.
It's cute and it's silly, but yeah, I am just kind of wondering why. Like why is she green? Why is she a mouse?
I must say, I really love the cheese jacket. It
Oh,
was
is
well
that
thought.
okay, well that makes sense. I like her ideas, but I'm with drag queens, I'm used to there being a specific reference. And like
Uh-huh.
when it just points to like halfway specific things, like things on a breakfast buffet or a mouse and accoutrement. Like I'm used to there being like this is a Tom and Jerry look, and look, here's a scratch I
Hmm.
got from the cat, or like that I think it's a cute look, but yeah, I'm just kind of left a little bit like, okay, and why? But that's just me. She does look great, signature brow.
Yeah.
Um, sure.
No, but again, also, I mean, the I think the cheese jacket looked really cute. It
Yeah.
was really well done. So yeah.
Well, and she had some drama with the queens on
Oh
the
yeah.
season, and so it was nice to give them an opportunity to kind of touch back on it. And the conversation went kind of like I saw it going in the episode. Like she really did seem very genuinely thankful that Meta brought up, that some of her actions were annoying because in those pressure cooker kind of situations, and even sometimes outside of those situations, it can be hard to tell how your actions are coming across to people, and sometimes you
Yeah.
just need to be told.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to hear that more than anything. So the fact that she listened so readily really said a lot to me about who she is, and I'm glad that they could kind of bring that up and be like, yeah, look, we're good, and
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the experience. Okay, so the way I feel about this look, I kind of hate to say, I feel the same way about the runway look. Like this was her opera queen's look, and it was a Lady Macbeth look. So, first of all, I guess is my fault. I didn't realize that Macbeth was a Verdi opera. Sorry, Verdi. And I saw that it was Scottish themed. I see the plaid, the tartan. I just thought that, especially without the red on the hands is pretty obvious. But like, I felt like I was supposed to understand that it was Lady Macbeth just because she was wearing plaid. It's like, oh, okay, that seems like a bit of a stretch to assume that I would get that just off of you being Scottish and it being an opera category. But once again, I think it's a good idea. I just think there could have it just it wasn't obvious enough for me. I feel like there could have been more.
Mm. Well, I don't know shit about opera, so I didn't understand who she was supposed to be
Okay, yeah,
representing. So
yeah.
I get your criticism. I still think she looks gorgeous, though. She looks great, and I like the look.
It's an okay look. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really. I mean, I'm just a little confused about the shaping. Like, it does look like all the shaping is coming from like the black tulle underneath, and that she just kind of
Mm.
took some flannel shirts and just kind of draped them over the top and put a spiky belt over it.
Yeah.
I'm just a little underwhelmed, but she does look good. Red hair on her does look great, and I
Yeah.
think that this wig is really fantastic. And the story of the blood and the way she presented it was really dramatic and really great.
I mean, also, what you have to keep in mind is that this was the only look that she had available for this kind of thing, right? Because it was the only runway that she didn't show us. So
Yeah,
maybe that's. I mean, it's not her greatest look. I think that she had better
man,
looks on the runway,
she
but
she was kind of a victim of bad runway orderings all season,
yeah,
and then yeah, she literally had no option.
that was the only. I mean, like that doesn't take away the criticism that you brought on, but
Yeah,
like.
But even if she had worn this on the runway during last week, during the Opera Queen's
Yeah,
runway, I would have still had the same reaction. I would have been just
yeah,
as confused. I probably
yeah,
would have been more confused because I would have assumed that I should know what it is right off the bat. And
yeah,
if I'm forced to make a connection between, yeah, Scotland and opera, I guess I would eventually get to Macbeth, but it's just a journey.
yeah.
Well, speaking of Miss Kelly Heelton, she didn't miss a beat. She was sent home in the last episode, but she was back this week looking gorgeous. This
Oh,
purple
oh.
gown was like some Raja O'Hara royalty realness, definitely serving winter vibes. And I thought that, yeah, the makeup and hair just looked splendid.
She's so gorgeous. I mean, this is opulence. The hair, I love
Yep.
the way the wig is shaped, the little glitter at the top, the
Yep.
the earrings are so beautiful. Purple fits her skin, like her skin, so well.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah,
She looks
I
so
mean,
royal and so regal.
amazing,
Now,
stunning.
she was very outspoken and kind of, one of the main narrators of the season. And so it made sense that she played a big part in this reunion. And, we know Kelly to be this like fountain of positive energy and of love. But it was interesting to see some apparent friction between some of the queens. But I totally get that. Like, especially people that are the most adamant about focusing on being positive and loving towards others, that like if you are not having it with somebody and you don't think that it's worth putting good energy into your relationship with them because it's just going to be a waste, you kind of just don't try at all. And I thought in Kelly's interaction with Lorelai and with Naomi, when Naomi tried to read her, like
Hmm.
Kelly just had no energy for it. And just where are the jokes?
Yeah,
And just like not even smiling, like it wasn't a cute interaction.
no.
And do you think it was interesting that Kelly ended up not getting any votes
Uh
for
huh.
Miss Darling? And I don't know if like top four were like off the table, because usually the people in the finale are not eligible for Miss Congeniality, and so I don't know if Kelly was for some reason included in that, or if for some reason, because I mentioned last week that maybe somebody else might get it, and I mean that was definitely the case, but I didn't know if any of the potential like interpersonal drama between them like made people vote for other people. I don't
I was
know.
so surprised. I mean, she didn't even get a single vote.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I mean, either she had to be excluded from the voting,
Yeah.
or that maybe she isn't as nice as she made us believe she is.
Right. Well, that's the thing is on set like that, when you're there, I think some people probably do really dial it in for the camera. And whenever the
Yeah,
camera's off, they just kind of shut it down. And I know on the American season, at least, that's like what they're supposed to do. Like they're supposed to be on ice, which means, not talking whenever the cameras aren't on. Because they
yeah.
want all of that interpersonal energy for the camera, for the storylines. And so, I can imagine maybe they're a little bit more lax about it, like the German crew in Colombia where they're filming, like maybe, they allow a little bit more like, just to get by, and not to lose your
Meh.
sanity as like, social people. And maybe Kelly just kind of is more focused when the camera's off and like not as interpersonal or something, but I think maybe that just speaks more to her
I don't know.
professionalism than
Yeah.
like because I don't think that all this positivity is fake, but I can see someone like Victoria or Lele or Naomi like just being more like Kiki ready all the time and like that mattering to the queens whenever they're voting on something like this. Like maybe Kelly's more
Maybe.
maternal.
Yeah, I was just, I mean, I was just kind of taken aback by Kelly this episode because it felt like to me, like also like in the very beginning, like when Johnny like was like, why didn't you like wear this on this season? This is amazing. She like I
Yeah.
felt like her reaction was pretty snarky, especially for someone like Kelly.
Her tone did seem very pointed.
Yeah, I love Kelly. I was just thinking that maybe yeah, maybe she's not that
Or
person that,
or they did actually film this right after the last episode and she might be salty about having to go home.
maybe.
Because I mean they're getting ready for the finale that she's not a part of, which
Yeah.
I can imagine if you're just coming off of that being like, great, let's rehash all of this stuff that'll remind me that I'm not in the running anymore, and I don't get a
Yeah.
runway either. You know,
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons.
but the air was different
Yeah.
around her, and I wonder, I do wonder what that is.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're at the end of a really long run, so far be it for me to judge what that might be.
Oh, well, yeah, no. There's definitely no judgment from me. I'm just confused.
Yeah, no, very fair. So that just leaves us our top three, starting with Yvonne Nightstand.
Hello.
Which, for wearing a smaller wig like she usually does, this one was much bigger and much higher and much closer to God than the ones that she has worn earlier in the season. So I thought that she looked great. I love this kind of like red, white, and blue palette she's got going on. She looks like that kooky aunt that you never quite know if she's drunk or just weird. I love that about her.
I don't know why. For some reason, I looked at her and I was like, this is Miranda Priestley, but like so kooky and like,
I love it.
I don't know why. It's just like the energy and the vibes.
Oh, yeah.
I love the little glasses on the hair.
Well, and I always feel like the top three during the reunion episode, it's so funny because they get a lot of screen time because they're kind of the focus of the storyline at this point in the season, but like it's almost like they're all in campaign mode because nobody wants to like say something off-putting or something that might turn the fandom against them right before the big moment. They want like public support. So you just notice that like, especially when they're all three up front, they're all just very smiley and very like, oh, I'm just so happy to be here and I love all of you so much. It's like there's always minimal drama, surrounding the top three.
Well, except for the season 9 reunion, but
yes.
Do I look upset to you?
Well, see, yeah, and there were no like season 9 reunion moments in this one, but
no.
It was still just great to see Yvonne because like you got to be reminded of like she did kind of have a quiet start. She didn't like win anything until much later in the season, but was never weak, and really got more and more confident in her comedic ability and in her runway looks. I thought that there was just a clear, steady increase in her skills.
Yeah.
And I love that for her. Good for her.
Good for her.
But yeah, I don't feel like they really focused on her too much this episode. She wasn't really involved in much like drama, besides her relationship with Meta. And they did touch on that, which was cute. Well, before we get to Meta, we have to first find the source of the shadow she's in. And that is Miss Pandora Nox. Which a lot of that shadow is coming from this really fluffy pink wig that she's got on, which I love because like her makeup style and so much of her aesthetic is so like harsh and like hard edges and intensity. I love seeing that paired with this like big fluffy cotton candy pink look because I do think she wears the pink really nicely because I mean she is still she can deliver that feminine edge so well, but she's got that edge that I love so much. And I mean, that edge is still here. And the contacts do match, which, I do appreciate. But yeah, she looks great. She looks like candy.
Yeah. She kind of like reminded me of Rock'em Sakura with like the big hair and like the anime-esque hair and like makeup.
Good call.
But she looks cute. She looks amazing. It's like I want to eat her hair. I just want to pick it apart and eat it.
And she had some insightful moments throughout the season, in a lot of the more serious discussions on either sexual abuse or racism. Like she seemed very down to earth and well grounded in all of these issues. And although she is a cis white woman, she has a really powerful platform and can use it in so many good ways. And it seems like she is 1000% in support of all these oppressed and marginalized communities that she sees in her life. And I just, regardless of what happens in the season, like she is such a powerhouse performer, and I think just more and more people are going to flock to her, and so I can't wait to see how she uses that platform.
Yeah, no, I mean, she definitely left her mark, and I'm so glad that she was on the season, and I'm excited to see what she's going to bring in the next episode. So.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like it'll be right up her alley.
Oh, yeah.
Which just leaves the Wunderkind Metamorkid. what
Hello.
I have fallen in love with Meta so much
Yeah.
over the course of this season. I mean, I was intrigued by her right off the bat. I thought
Yeah.
her looks were great, but she gave such kind of an ethereal, kind of alien, highbrow atmosphere that I wondered if she would be relatable enough to really fall in love with and to see, kind of a top three storyline for. But she has proven me totally wrong in that because she does have so much heart. And I think even the relationship with Yvonne really kind of helped humanize, a lot of her to see, because that is a difficult subject for her. And so to see her actively, breaking down those walls and doing it seemingly so fearlessly, I'm sure there are some fears and anxieties involved, but the way that she's presented herself has just been so commendable and so I love it. I love her.
I mean, I loved her from the first episode. I think she has amazing looks. She has an amazing eye for like design. She has great comedy as well. I think she's so funny.
Yep. Yep.
And I love her. Either way, it's gonna go next week. I am happy with each of them winning. Like genuinely, I do not care who wins
Yeah.
because they're all amazing. They all deserve it.
Yeah. I was so happy to see, and you could tell that there wasn't a whole lot of drama around her this season either. I don't feel
No.
like they focused on her too much, which I think as a top three contestant, they're kind of happy with that.
But when she said, I just hope they're gonna love Kelly half as much as they love me, I was like, wait, hello? I mean, immediately knew what she was trying to say, but she did technically say that, like, that they gonna love, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just kind of awkward. But, I mean,
It was adorable.
it was so funny.
That sounds like something I would do.
Oh, yeah, same.
So, something special that always happens in reunion episodes on the American season is the crowning of Miss Congeniality, which in the past had been something that was voted on by the public, which was supposed to be for queens that were congenial, queens that were kind, friendly, loving. But it ended up, of course, being a popularity contest. Because, I mean, anytime you open something up to the public like that, gonna be a popularity contest. So, after a while, to kind of regain the integrity of the Miss Congeniality crown, they just made the voting open to the queens on the cast that season. So it's always fun to get a glimpse of like among the cast who is like kind of the most beloved and the nicest one, if for lack of a better term. But on Drag Race Germany, they gave out Miss Darling, which was the equivalent to Miss Congeniality. I guess congeniality is a tough, a tough word
Yeah.
for a non-English speaking audience. But last week, we kind of speculated whether it would be Kelly or whether it would be somebody else. I think I mentioned Victoria or somebody else, and the overwhelming number of votes went to Victoria Shakespears.
Almost all of them.
More power to you, baby. I mean, she was such a sweetheart, and I guess that just kind of tells you about her relationship with everyone on and off camera. And she was around for the majority of the season, so she had a lot of time to develop these relationships, and I was really great to see Diane crown her.
Yeah. No, I mean, like you said, power to her. She also had such an important message. I was so happy to see that she doesn't take anything for granted, which is like a great quality to have as a person.
Yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
even though she's like this glamorous queen and like her drag persona is quite extravagant and like glamour and stuff, but like
Yeah.
she as a person, she knows where she's come from, and she knows how she ended up there,
Yeah.
like where she is right now.
And she knows where she's going.
Yeah, and I'm so happy. I am definitely gonna stream her song. I just want to support her because like she seems to really actually like feel connected to the cause that she's gonna support or that
Yeah.
she's supporting, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
You can tell. You can tell it means a lot to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that leaves us with our top three: Metamorkid, Pandora Nox, and Yvonne Nightstand. I think that these are three incredible queens and
Hmm.
unique and so different from each other. I'm amazed that the two Austrians have made it all this way.
Yes.
And luckily, we've got a Berlin queen holding down the fort as well. So I Gosh, I don't know how it's gonna go. Like you said, I would be happy with any of them winning. I think people would complain a lot if Pandora won. I feel like they would, cry favoritism, which to a certain extent I would agree with. I wouldn't be mad about it, but ignoring the weaknesses in her performance, I feel like doesn't do anybody any favors. When somebody like Meta has shown to be very well rounded and has excelled at challenges that Pandora has also excelled in, and also ones that she didn't excel in. So I don't. I think it's most likely that Meta will win. I don't necessarily seeing Yvonne win unless she really kills the challenge next week. But
Which,
as we saw in the
yeah,
preview, and traditionally the last episode is a like singing and dancing challenge. You write your own
yeah,
verse to like a RuPaul song or some song, and you have to choreograph it and perform it and sing it and do all of the above. And that's not necessarily Yvonne's wheelhouse. It definitely seems up Pandora's alley. Meta, once again, this is not something that I think of Meta as being good at, but she has proven that she can knock this kind of challenge out of the park. So
yeah.
I am excited to see, because I know if Yvonne leans into what she's strong at, leans into the comedy, and trusts herself, you don't have to be the most musical queen to win this kind of challenge. Like look at Alaska. Alaska can't sing to save her life. I mean, I think she doesn't have the best voice, but she
Yeah,
knows how to deliver
yeah,
that Alaska brand of vocals.
yeah. I mean, Riki wrote you. She still has an amazing verse. So
Exactly, exactly. And I think that that is just the epitome of like knowing your strengths and relying on them and not trying to be something you're not. And,
yeah,
depending on if Yvonne's in her head or, feeling confident coming off of, this string of victories, I would love to see her knock it out of the park, but I think it's more likely that one of the Austrians would be able to do that
which
with
is
a little
kind of
bit.
ironic, but I mean, given
Right,
that it's
right.
Drag Race Germany. But
I
I
know.
mean,
Oh,
again, I would be so happy to see any of them win. I agree with you that I like as of right now, I think it's the least likely outcome is that Yvonne is gonna win, simply because, like you mentioned earlier, she had kind of like a slow start into the competition. Like it was just only like after that, the halfway mark, that she started gaining traction. So I would love for her to win, but I just don't really see it.
yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, and that Pandora winning would be quote unquote favoritism, but yes, she has in comparison to Meta, she did struggle on certain challenges, which Meta throughout the whole season has stayed pretty consistent, like in the top. But I feel like whereas Meta's curve was like this the whole time, like Pandora's was like she did go like over the top, and like she did excel. I mean, the 3-in-1 look,
I mean, yeah, the things that she does well, she does so well
yeah,
that like it just drowns everybody else's performance out. It's just
yeah,
that good.
her lip
So
syncs.
yeah, you're right.
It's a very tough choice. I can see all three of them winning. Like Meta and Pandora are definitely more likely to win, but like it's just a different way to judge it. Like
Yeah,
if you go for consistency, then Meta should win. But if you go for iconicism,
right.
then I feel
Exactly.
like Pandora should win. So
Legendarianism.
yeah,
But that's the thing
but
is we don't know what that rubric looks like, and
yeah,
we don't know what they're prioritizing or what they think makes a successful
yeah,
run, especially on the first season of a franchise. And so I think, yeah,
yeah.
the outcome will show us a lot about, how they're judging this and, what to
I
look
mean, to be
for if we
fair,
get a season
next
two.
week is going to be the performance challenge, and I felt like, for example, was it All Star 6 was the one with Sonique, right?
Yes.
Kylie, sorry.
Yeah.
I felt like, I mean, obviously she did amazing the whole season, but I think that what really brought home her win was the final episode.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we could see one like either of them bomb next week.
Well, I was about to say we've gotten to this point. So if they're judging largely based on what they see this episode, which there's always a balance between this
Yeah,
episode and the season as a whole, but making a strong statement right before the crowning is a great way to get their attention.
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I'm just
Well,
excited to see. how it's gonna turn out. I'm not excited for this to end, but like,
Gosh, I know it's wild that we are already to that point. I feel like it just started, and I feel like now we're
yeah,
just really getting to know these queens, and yeah, that just leaves me wanting more. So I'm really hoping that each of them is just going to be able to use this as an opportunity to just spring launch their career,
yeah.
into the next level.
I'm so happy to see, which I think they should. I mean, I don't know if they do it. Wait, no, they do it every season. That they bring all the old queens back.
In the preview,
Yeah,
all
you
the
could
queens are
see
there.
that they are bringing the old queens back, which I love.
Maybe they'll get a runway too, so we'll be able
Yeah,
to
no,
get to do
like
this next
just
time
like
too.
get their final runway out of the way. Like, out of the way sounds so bad, but like you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
But it is such a good opportunity because, like, even Barbie Q, who went home first, like, she got to show 2 looks this week, and she'll get to show at least 1 look next week. So even though she went home early, she got to pick at least her 3 favorite looks and show those, which I think is important.
yeah,
Well, that just leaves 1 more week until episode 12, the finale of Drag Race Germany season 9. We will be here with your full coverage, as always. Thank you so much for joining us again, as usual. Thomas, thank you for joining me again.
Thank you for
Couldn't do this
having
without
me.
you. You are essential worker.
what can I say? I'm just so happy to be here every week with you and to wait. Is it Kiki or Kai Kai?
Oh, well, we can do whichever one you're feeling like. But I feel like Kiki is what you're looking for.
I mean, we'll do this after the show, but no, thank you for having me. I'm always having such an amazing time.
Absolutely. Well, y'all have an excellent week, and be sure to tune in for the Drag Race Germany Season 1 finale. Bye.
Bye.